Good morning, everyone. This is sort of an odd moment, a difficult and interesting moment in our course here. That is when we kind of get down to business on the team or group project. Now, obviously, I'm making a special attempt to ease us into this by making the video. That's why I'm doing the video. It's not just by chance, but I wanted you to see and hear me. Let me even preface what I'm about to say by saying that if you have questions, just 301-728-5175. I usually respond pretty much immediately. If I don't, if you don't hear from me after you send me a text message, just wait 5 or 6 hours and send it again, okay? Because I've overlooked it or something like that, because I get a lot of text messages. Okay, let's get into the core of this here. First of all, as I was saying in the announcement, there's a lot of controversy about team writing. Really a lot, and a lot of it's pretty negative, and a lot of teachers have, shall I say, mixed feelings, to put it in a nice way, about group projects or team writing. I am, as I was saying, the opposite, and the reason for that is that I just have so much experience doing this. Many academic profs, they've not really spent so much time in the workforce, and that is to say in the professional workforce, managing groups and managing teams. I'm the opposite. I've spent a lot. I've just spent almost 15 years doing this, and my primary job, or one of my primary jobs anyway, was doing exactly this. That is to say, managing teams that were required to write at work, to do team projects. So I'm very much in favor of this because I know how important it is. Now, this said, I also am very, very aware of how difficult it is and how frustrating it can be. And here's where we really start what I want to communicate here in this video. And that is, you just need to be patient. One of the, I think, the golden rules, as it were, about doing team projects is everyone just has to be really patient. They're not going to work perfectly, okay? And they're not going to, work like in a movie or something like that. That's just not the way these things work, and it's never different. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, I've worked with executive teams. I've prepared, long things, for senior management in my companies. I've done, reports for national, international, on and on and on. It's every possible kind, and frankly, none of them have ever worked perfectly. Okay, it just doesn't happen like that. For a million different good reasons. Okay, now I think maybe I'll make another video about exactly this down the road, but for now I just want to emphasize you have to be really, really patient. Now, that kind of might sound not so appealing. However, I don't see it like that either. I see the one project, if you like, or the one assignment in this whole course that I would not change and not do away with is this one. And the reason for that is the difficulty is part of it. I could easily administrate the difficulty out of it. I mean, I could do that. It would take me, how long would it take me to plan that? It would take me 5 minutes, okay? To give us give everyone hoops to jump through and due dates and all that stuff. However, that would be taking the whole thing out of your hands, and it would be taking the experience of managing these groups and contending with the problems completely away from you, and that would be bad. I mean, that would be really bad. I think I wouldn't really be doing my job if I did that. Okay, so I kind of leave things open, and there's the big question here is basically how authoritarian you want your groups to be. Okay, that is to say, do you want to appoint a primary manager or leader or whatever? whatever you want to call them, excuse me, or not. And I think both. This is where I just, my colleagues and I kind of disagree here, because the common wisdom about this is that the teacher should set up administrative guidelines. Now, I just completely disagree with that, because once again, I'm doing the work, and I'm making all the important decisions. I want you to decide whether you want to appoint a group leader, number one, or whether you want to just kind of wing everything, okay? Because both work. It all depends on the personalities. It all depends on the assignment itself, okay? And this varies from group project to group project. And because of the diversity built into a class like ours, some groups will, want to just basically kind of wing it and have fun. Other groups will want to be really strict. And once again, first of all, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to give you all the guidance you want. If you want me to sort of set up, a 10-part schedule for you, I'm happy to do that. As I said, I can do that in 5 minutes. I spent 15 years doing this, a lot. So it's not difficult for me at all. But I want you to decide how you want to do it. Okay, so that's that one. I want you to decide the basic degree of organization you want. Now, I know the question always comes up about grading. This is where I kind of get into differences of opinion with my colleagues about this one. And let me just kind of be brutal here. I have taught, shall I say, this assignment, I don't know how many times, about 12, 15 times now, is this year 3 or year 4? I don't even remember anymore. But so I've done it about 15 times, and I have never had a problem with grades. I mean, never, never, never. I think once or twice I've had like a 10-second discussion about it. And there's a reason for this, and it's because, first of all, I'm kind of flexible and relaxed about grades, and I let you do do-overs and stuff like that to kind of take the pressure off, mostly you, but a little bit me, of course. But what I want to say here is that if you find that you're doing, quite a lot of work, and maybe I don't want to say an excessive amount of work, but if you're doing, more than one might say normal, I'll give you extra credit for that, okay? And you're going to say, well, how does he know? Well, he knows because he can see. And the other thing is, as I say to everyone, I mean, I've done this like, not just for this class, but I've done this professionally like 500 times. So I immediately kind of know what's going on. And that's good for you, because that means that it's all going to be fair. Okay, so if you overwork, quote unquote, I'm going to give you extra credit. Now, some of you are thinking, well, I don't really have the time to kind of wait around for the emails and all that stuff. Well, I mean, I can live with that as well. But what we'll do here is, if you kind of, shall I say, phase out a little bit, we'll just work together and we'll negotiate. Sometimes there's been a couple of worst case scenarios where people have just not had time to do this. And, you just happen to have the world's most understanding teacher about this. So if this happens, the way I balance everything is, number one, I give the people who did the work, most of the work, extra credit. And those who kind of didn't quite step up to the plate, we'll give you an extra assignment or something like that. And this is, once again, you're thinking, oh, this sounds horrible. This sounds as though it's going to be complicated and anxiety is going to arrive. It's exactly the opposite, trust me. It's not. There's no anxiety, okay? And once again, having done this assignment now, 15 times or so, and multiply that by 25, whatever that is, 500 students. I've never had a grade complaint, far from it. Most people, I won't say happy with this assignment, because I wouldn't call it exactly fun. But they understand they've learned a lot, and the next time through, they'll know how to deal with these issues. Okay, I don't really like to go to 10 minutes on these, because they get kind of hard to load onto YouTube. Okay, so that's the fairness thing. You just trust me. I mean, an inherently fair professor. In terms of the planning, I talked about it. Either you're welcome to either plan a lot or kind of wing it, or go a middle way. They're all good. Okay, let me kind of conclude in about 10, 20 or 30 seconds. This is a very valuable assignment, and as far as I'm concerned, the sloppier it is, the better. Okay, because if you kind of run into some problems, that means you're basically having the experience of, shall I say, contentious professional project. And professionally, these working with, well, say, a team of 5 to turn out a long paper, or even a short one for that matter, it can be really horrible, and a lot can be on the line, and there's pressures from the top, and there's a lot of things, there's personality issues and ego issues and things like that, and I want you to feel a little bit of that, and keeping in mind that I'm around to help out. So, it's not as though anyone's ever been had their whole semester destroyed or anything like that. Far from it. If it looks to me, let me sort of conclude here. If it looks to me that a group is doing too much work, okay, because that's a possibility. Every once in a while, I get a group with 5 overachievers, and they're thinking in terms of a 200-page paper. They don't quite realize it, but as they start to plan this, I see big chunks of 15 and 20 pages and stuff like that, which is not what we want. We want short and sweet and focused and all that. So I just I intervene, and I can make that right so you don't do an excessive amount of work. And so basically you should not have anything to worry about. Do your best here. If you get frustrated, just text me, and if you end up doing a little more than the other people, I will reward you in a really, really generous way. Okay, if you wonder about whether you have to tell on people or say, oh, I'm working, don't worry about it. Okay, I can tell from the from Blackboard. It's immediately obvious. I can tell by talking to you. Okay, I want to stop. I got way too long here. I'm really sorry for that, but and I'll be shorter next time. So I always have to lean here because